In the gleaming corridors of the Celestial Academy of Zephyria, where crystalline walls hummed with ancient harmonics and twin suns cast prismatic shadows through translucent floors, the whispers carried farther than sound itself. They spoke of the human janitor who dared raise alien children, whose calloused hands moved in silent languages while the elite watched with barely concealed disgust. Marcus Chen pushed his sonic cleaner through halls that sparkled like captured starlight, his twin daughters trailing behind him like small shadows, their luminescent skin dimmed by shame. What happened that day would ripple through the Academy's ivory towers and shake the very foundations of an empire built on prejudice. Before we start, subscribe now so you don't miss more incredible stories like this one. Oh, and before we dive in, tell us in the comments, where are you watching this video from? We love hearing from you and always read every message. The Celestial Academy floated like a jewel against Zephyria's amber sky, its bioluminescent spires reaching toward 3 moons that danced in eternal twilight. Within its walls, the children of galactic royalty learned the arts of diplomacy and conquest, their crystalline voices echoing through chambers carved from living meteor stone. Yet in the service corridors, where the Academy's underbelly pulsed with maintenance systems and forgotten dreams, Marcus Chen guided his sonic cleaner with practiced silence. Kaya and Zara, his 7-year-old twin daughters, followed in his wake like small ghosts. Their Zephyrian heritage showed in the soft blue glow beneath their translucent skin, in the delicate gill slits that fluttered along their necks, and in the antenna-like appendages that should have vibrated with the Academy's harmonic frequencies. Instead, their sensory organs remained still, damaged in the same accident that had claimed their mother 3 years ago. "Look at the little freaks," sneered Axiom Veltar, son of the Andorian Trade Consortium, his metallic voice carrying the authority of inherited wealth. His entourage of young aristocrats clustered around him like planets orbiting a cruel star, their expensive bio-enhancements gleaming under the Academy's perpetual light. Marcus's hand stilled on his cleaner's handle, but he didn't look up. He'd learned that eye contact only invited escalation. Instead, he continued his work, the soft hum of the cleaning device creating a protective bubble of sound around his small family. "They can't even hear you, Axiom," laughed Princess Syra of the Crimson Nebula, her 4 arms gesturing dismissively. "Deaf little mistakes that shouldn't exist." The twins pressed closer to their father, Kaya's small hand finding Zara's as they formed their silent circle of protection. Marcus knelt between them, his weathered hands moving in the sign language he'd learned for them, his fingers spelling comfort in a language the aristocrats would never understand. But while the hall filled with cruel laughter, the janitor's eyes held something deeper than resignation, a quiet strength that seemed to pulse with the same rhythm as the Academy's ancient heart. The confrontation escalated when Axiom blocked Marcus's path, his bio-enhanced frame casting a shadow that seemed to swallow light itself. Around them, other students gathered like scavengers sensing blood, their personal recording devices activated to capture what they assumed would be another humiliation of the Academy's most despised family. The corridor's bioluminescent walls dimmed in response to the gathering crowd, as if the building itself recoiled from the approaching cruelty. "Tell me, Janitor." Axiom's voice dripped with mockery, each word calculated to cause maximum psychological damage. "How does it feel to know your children will never hear the harmonic principles? They'll never understand the fundamental frequencies that bind our civilization together. They're broken, useless, evolutionary dead ends consuming resources that could nurture the genetically worthy. A waste of precious oxygen that belongs to their betters." The crowd pressed closer, their excitement palpable as entertainment value increased with the crowd size. Some students began placing bets through their neural interfaces, wagering on how long it would take for the human to break, how many tears they could extract, whether the children would run crying or simply collapse where they stood. The twins couldn't hear the words, but they felt the malice radiating from the crowd like heat from a dying star. Zara's luminescence flickered with distress, while Kaya stepped protectively in front of her sister, her small face set with premature determination. Marcus stood slowly, his movement deliberate and calm. For a moment, something shifted in the atmosphere, a subtle change that made the more sensitive species in the crowd pause, their various sensory organs detecting a disturbance in the Academy's usually predictable harmonics. "They understand more than you think," Marcus said quietly, his voice carrying clearly despite its softness. "They see what others miss. They feel vibrations your enhanced senses overlook." Axiom laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Prove it. Let them solve a simple harmonic navigation puzzle. When they fail, you pack up your pathetic family and leave Zephyria forever." The crowd pressed closer, their excitement building as they sensed entertainment. Recording devices hummed, capturing every angle of what they believed would be a swift humiliation. Marcus looked down at his daughters, his hands moving in rapid sign language. The twins watched with intense concentration, then nodded in unison, their bioluminescence beginning to pulse in a synchronized pattern that few in the crowd even noticed. No one believed the little ones would even try. But the silence that followed their father's final gesture spread across the chamber like a storm gathering strength. Axiom gestured toward a wall-mounted harmonic interface, its crystalline surface alive with shifting frequencies that represented navigation patterns through Zephyrian space. The device was a masterpiece of modern technology, incorporating 17 different harmonic layers that corresponded to various stellar phenomena: gravitational wells, plasma storms, quantum fluctuations, and the complex interactions between multiple star systems. The puzzle was designed for advanced students who had spent years learning to interpret the sophisticated mathematical relationships that governed interstellar travel. "This should take 30 seconds for any competent child with proper genetic heritage," Axiom announced with theatrical grandeur, his voice carrying to the recording devices that would immortalize this moment of expected triumph. "Let's see how long your deaf mutations struggle before they collapse in bewildered failure." The interface itself was intimidating in its complexity. Crystalline matrices pulsed with data streams that would overwhelm most adult minds, while harmonic frequencies shifted through patterns that required simultaneous processing of spatial, temporal, and gravitational variables. The device was calibrated for Zephyrian physiology at its peak performance. Enhanced sensory organs, upgraded neural interfaces, and genetic modifications that allowed rapid calculation of multidimensional mathematics. Kaya and Zara approached the interface together, their small forms dwarfed by the complex device that towered above them like a technological monument to intellectual superiority. The crowd watched with hungry anticipation, some already composing the social media posts that would immortalize this moment of cruelty, others calculating the betting payoffs from the children's inevitable failure. But as the twins placed their hands on the crystal surface, something unexpected occurred. Where their palms touched, the harmonics shifted, not in the patterns the interface was designed to create, but in deeper, older frequencies that seemed to resonate from the Academy's core structure itself. The building's walls began to hum with a subsonic vibration that bypassed conscious hearing entirely, reaching directly into the bones and nervous systems of everyone present. The shift was subtle at first, a barely perceptible change in the acoustic environment that made some students unconsciously hold their breath. But those with the most sensitive hearing began to notice that the Academy's background harmonics, the constant musical foundation that had provided the soundtrack to their privileged lives, was transforming into something unprecedented. "They're just touching it randomly," someone muttered, but their voice carried less certainty than before. Zara's gill slits began to flutter, not with the Academy's artificial harmonics, but with vibrations that predated the building itself. Kaya's antenna-like appendages, damaged as they were, began to twitch in response to frequencies so subtle that even the most enhanced hearing couldn't detect them. Marcus watched his daughter's work, his expression unreadable, but those observant enough noticed his hands weren't idle. They moved in sign language so rapid and complex that it seemed almost like ritual, and the twins responded with microscopic adjustments to their positioning on the interface. Dr. Yilan Voss, the Academy's oldest instructor and one of the few who remembered Zephyria before the Galactic Alliance, pushed through the crowd. Her ancient eyes, clouded with age but sharp with knowledge, fixed on the twins with growing astonishment. "Impossible," she whispered. "They're not using the standard harmonic frequencies at all. They're tapping into something else entirely." The navigation puzzle began to solve itself, but not in any pattern the crowd recognized. Instead of the 17 harmonic layers, the interface displayed geometric forms that pulsed with a rhythm that seemed to match the Academy's foundational resonance. And just when everyone thought the children would break under the pressure, something was revealed that no one had expected. The interface began to sing with frequencies that hadn't been heard in Zephyrian space for over 1,000 years. The ancient harmonics that flowed from the interface weren't random. They were the original navigation songs of Zephyria, the primal frequencies that the planet's first inhabitants had used to traverse space before the Galactic Alliance imposed its standardized systems. The crystalline walls of the Academy itself began to resonate, responding to harmonics coded into its very foundation. Dr. Voss staggered backward, her hands trembling as recognition dawned. "Those are the old songs," she breathed. "The Navigator's Lament, the Star Walker's Psalm. They're singing the frequencies that built this world." Axiom's confidence wavered for the first time. The interface was solving the puzzle, but more than that, it was revealing layers of complexity that shouldn't exist, displaying navigation routes through dimensions of space that current Zephyrian science barely acknowledged. "How?" he demanded, his metallic voice cracking slightly. "They can't hear the standard frequencies. This is impossible." Marcus stepped forward, his weathered face serene in the growing light emanating from the interface, his posture transforming from humble service worker to something that spoke of command authority earned through trials that these privileged students couldn't imagine. "You've forgotten something fundamental about Zephyrian physiology," he said, his voice carrying a new authority that made several faculty members in the crowd straighten unconsciously in recognition of a tone they associated with senior officers and master navigators. "The standardized harmonic systems you all depend on are evolutionary shortcuts, technological crutches that allowed rapid expansion across the galaxy, but at the cost of abilities your species once possessed naturally. You've enhanced your hearing beyond biological limits, but in doing so, you've lost the capacity to detect the gravitational harmonics that exist below the threshold of mechanical instruments." The twins continued their work, their small hands moving across the interface with movements that seemed choreographed by forces beyond conscious control. Their bioluminescence now pulsed in perfect synchronization, not just with each other, but with the Academy's foundational frequencies, creating a feedback loop that was awakening harmonic resonances throughout the building's entire structure. The first Zephyrians navigated by feeling the gravitational harmonics of space itself, Marcus continued, his voice taking on the cadence of someone reciting knowledge passed down through generations rather than learned from textbooks. They read the vibrations of reality at a level deeper than sound, deeper than any current technology can detect. Your bodies evolved to sense the quantum fluctuations that occur when massive objects bend space-time, to feel the gravitational songs that stellar objects create as they move through the cosmic medium. The crowd had fallen completely silent now, their mockery replaced by growing unease as they realized they were witnessing something beyond their understanding. The Academy's harmonic environment was transforming around them. becoming something that felt simultaneously ancient and utterly alien to their technologically enhanced sensibilities. Kaya and Zara stepped back from the interface in perfect unison, their small hands signing to their father in movements so fluid and rapid that they seemed to be conducting an invisible orchestra. Around them, the academy's walls hummed with frequencies that made some students' bio-enhancements shut down protectively, while others found their enhanced hearing overwhelmed by harmonic layers too complex for their augmented neural systems to process. The navigation puzzle wasn't just solved, it had been transcended. The interface now displayed routes through space that bypassed known hyperspace lanes entirely, showing pathways that could cut travel times across the galaxy by factors the assembled students couldn't even calculate. It wasn't just knowledge the twins had demonstrated, it was a genetic legacy. And suddenly, absolute silence fell across the crowd as the implications began to sink in. The silence stretched until Dr. Voss spoke, her voice heavy with awe and growing dread at her own revelation. "The Chen twins aren't just deaf," she said slowly. "Their sensory organs are attuned to pre-alliance frequencies. They're genetic throwbacks to the original Navigator bloodline." The crowd's mockery died completely as the weight of her words settled. The Navigator bloodline was legend. The first Zephyrians who had mapped the galaxy, who had possessed the ability to feel the universe's gravitational songs in their very bones. That bloodline was supposedly extinct, wiped out during the Alliance's technological integration centuries ago. Marcus placed his hands on his daughter's shoulders, and for the first time since entering the academy, he stood at his full height. There was something in his posture now that spoke of hidden depths, of knowledge deliberately concealed. "Their mother," he said quietly, "was the last known descendant of Navigator House Zephani. When she died saving other passengers from that transport crash, everyone assumed the line had ended." Axiom backed away, his bio-enhanced features pale with growing understanding. "You're lying. The Navigator houses were dissolved. Their genetic markers were supposed to be extinct." "Supposed to be," Marcus agreed. "But genetics don't follow political decrees. Kaya and Zara carry their mother's Navigator genes, expressed through what you call damage to their sensory organs. What you see as disability is actually their inheritance, the ability to feel space-time itself." The twins moved to their father's sides, no longer hiding behind him but standing with quiet dignity that seemed far beyond their young years. Their bioluminescence had settled into a steady glow that matched the ancient harmonics still resonating through the academy's walls. Princess Syra, whose own royal bloodline was considered among the galaxy's most prestigious, found herself taking unconscious steps backward. "If they're true navigators," she whispered, "then they outrank all of us." The truth rippled through the crowd like a shockwave. Navigator bloodlines held precedence over all other genetic castes in Zephyrian society. They were the architects of interstellar civilization, the ones whose sacrifice and genius had built the foundation upon which the modern galaxy rested. But the final revelation came not from words, but from a name that Dr. Voss spoke with trembling reverence. "Zara Chen Zephani, Kaya Chen Zephani. The galaxy has forgotten, but I remember the old records. These children carry the name that once guided every ship among the stars." The transformation in the academy's corridors was immediate and absolute. Students who had laughed at the deaf freaks now found themselves in the presence of galactic nobility. Not the purchased titles and bio-enhanced privileges they were accustomed to, but bloodline royalty that predated their civilization's existence. Axiom, his metallic features twisted with the realization of his catastrophic error, attempted to salvage his position. "Even if they're navigators, they're still broken. They still can't function in modern society." "Can't they?" Marcus asked, his voice carrying new authority. From his maintenance kit, he withdrew a device that looked like a standard sonic cleaner, but hummed with frequencies that made the Academy's walls sing in response. Did you think I was just a janitor? The device wasn't a cleaning tool at all. It was a portable harmonic tuner, designed to maintain the delicate balance of frequencies that kept the Academy's bioluminescent structure stable. Marcus had been using it to map every harmonic pathway in the building, creating a three-dimensional sound map that only someone with navigator training could comprehend. I've been monitoring the Academy's structural harmonics for 3 years, he continued, recording frequency deterioration, mapping harmonic failures, preventing catastrophic resonance collapses that would have killed thousands. The administration hired me as a janitor, but they've been unknowingly employing a former Alliance navigator to keep their precious Academy from singing itself apart. Dr. Voss nodded slowly, pieces of a larger puzzle finally clicking into place. The harmonic stabilization improvements over the past 3 years, the reduced structural maintenance costs, the mysterious resolution of resonance problems that had plagued us for decades, that was you. Kaya and Zara stepped forward, their small hands moving in sign language that Marcus translated for the stunned crowd. They want you to know something, he said. They've been watching all of you, learning your harmonic signatures, understanding how your bio-enhancements affect the Academy's frequency balance. They know which of your modifications are causing microscopic structural damage and which ones are actually helping stabilize the building. The twins began to sign again, their movements precise and deliberate. Marcus smiled for the first time in the presence of the crowd. They're offering to teach anyone who wants to learn the old navigation techniques. They say the galaxy has forgotten how to listen to itself. With quiet dignity, Marcus began to pack his equipment, but instead of the hasty retreat the crowd had expected, he moved with the ceremonial precision of someone completing a ritual. He left the harmonic tuner active on the interface, its frequencies creating a permanent record of the ancient songs his daughters had awakened. The next time you laugh at someone you think is broken, he said, meeting Axiom's eyes directly, remember that evolution doesn't always move forward. Sometimes it circles back to recover what was lost. As they walked away, the twins' bioluminescence painted patterns of light on the corridor walls, not random decoration, but harmonic notation that would take scholars decades to fully decode. And as they disappeared around the corner, no one dared laugh again. For they finally understood that they had just witnessed the return of something the galaxy thought it had lost forever. In the days that followed, news of the Navigator twins spread throughout Zephyrian space like harmonics through crystal. The Academy's carefully maintained social hierarchy crumbled as students and faculty alike grappled with the realization that their most despised outcasts were, in fact, the inheritors of their civilization's greatest legacy. Dr. Voss submitted her resignation from the Academy and requested permission to establish the first Navigator Heritage Research Institute, dedicated to preserving and studying the ancient techniques that Kaya and Zara had demonstrated. Her request was approved within hours by a Zephyrian council suddenly desperate to reconnect with their lost traditions. Marcus Chen received offers from every major navigation guild in the galaxy, each one begging him to share his knowledge and train a new generation in the old ways. The Alliance itself, recognizing the strategic implications of rediscovered navigator bloodlines, extended formal recognition and protection to the Chen Zafani family. Axiom Veltar, stripped of his social standing and facing investigation for harassment of protected navigator descendants, disappeared from Zephyrian space entirely. His family's trading consortium, desperate to distance itself from the scandal, established a scholarship fund for children with sensory differences, hoping to atone for their heirs' actions. But the most profound change came from an unexpected source. Princess Syra of the Crimson Nebula, whose four-armed physiology had always made her an outsider among more humanoid nobility, approached the Chen family with a request. Her enhanced hearing, she revealed, had been picking up frequencies similar to what the twins could sense. She wanted to learn if her abnormal sensory capabilities might be signs of her own forgotten navigator heritage. Within a year, the academy that had once been a bastion of genetic elitism had transformed into the galaxy's premier center for navigator studies. Students who had previously hidden their sensory differences now sought testing to see if they carried dormant navigator traits. The twins, no longer outcasts but revered teachers, worked alongside their father to develop new training methods that combined ancient techniques with modern understanding. The Chenzef-Ani family never returned to the service corridors. Instead, they took residence in the Navigator Memorial Wing that the Academy constructed in their honor, where the walls were designed to resonate with the ancient frequencies that had built their civilization. And when the twin daughters of Marcus Chen stood before the Galactic Assembly on their 18th birthday, their hands moving in the sign language that had become the official communication method for navigator studies, their words carried the weight of prophecy. "The universe has been singing to us all along," they said through their father's translation. "We just forgot how to listen." In a galaxy built on technological advancement and genetic hierarchy, sometimes a single act of recognition is enough to rediscover the harmony that was always meant to guide the stars.